Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of IG versus Zenith. It's a group stage match for the Alienware Cup, brought to you by Alienware, MasterCard, the sponsors, as well as DPM Interactive, our organizer, tirelessly working, dpmlicious. Shout out to her. With that being said, game 2 now going to be getting underway. IG steamrolled their way through Zenith in game 1. They really crushed it with a safe lane Spectre, an offensive trialing YYF on his classic, iconic Windrunner, and 430. Great puck performance from him. They march into game 2 with a lot of momentum. Yeah, they had maybe one major mistake in their trialing. That was about all I saw where Chuan got initiated on. They lost 2 heroes. But other than that, everything else went pretty perfectly. I think they are really back up to swing. Everything looks solid. Their draft was great. I loved all their hero picks. And as a whole, things are changing all of a sudden. Enchantress first pick with an Alchemist. They'll go for a really early jungler here. 430, this is one of the, or excuse me, not 430. Chuan is a very well-known and famous jungle player. IG, there was a long period, I would say maybe 4 to 6 months, where they just weren't running junglers, and I guess before the International 2 and then for a few months after. But as of late, Chen and Enchantress in general have seen more play. They've seen a bit of a resurgence. There's been a lot of indirect buffs to junglers, creeps getting stronger in general, things like the Harpies having a lot more mana even, and, well, we've seen a lot more jungle play as of late, and Chuan's going to get his hands on the Enchantress. Yeah, I did get a chance to watch him play Chen at TI2 group stage, or maybe during the preliminaries or something. You mean like in person? Yeah, in person. I watched from behind him. He has this really old white keyboard. Doesn't look fancy at all, but it was really, really fun watching him. Just even little tricks. Videotape that. Like, seriously, just watching them jungle, like auto attack creeps. Yeah. They do it slightly different. Like, they know which creep is going to die in one last hit, so they do attack moves on everything. It's just a little bit more efficient than what I had seen before. So right, really like if you have a creep, you let the creep get the killing blow while you start moving your hero to the next camp. Like all those random little tricks to just get slightly more efficient, always at the ruin at the right times, and all those small differences really add up. Yep, exactly. It's really fun to watch. So if you guys want to sometime, go buy the ticket. You can check out Chuan's player perspective. You can see what he does to do everything a little faster. Yeah, of course, only $7.99. Can't guarantee the Dota TV audio will always be great on the Perfect World servers, but you still get the first-person perspectives of all these fantastic players no matter what. Speaking of fantastic players, we'll get to see Navi in action tomorrow, I believe, so looking forward to that. But for today, IG versus Zenith, our final match of the evening. And Zenith, they never fail to disappoint their fans with their drafts, if not with their play. And they'll go for Slark here, something we have not seen, I think, ever from them. At least I've never seen them run it before. I'm honestly not surprised at all about the pick, though. Ever since the Eastern qualifiers, I'm sorry, the Western qualifiers, where teams like, was it AL, I believe? I think AL was drafting Slark a lot, putting him in a mid-roll. Miggle was playing him, I believe, and it really made the hero look quite overpowered. He's a good counter against a lot of different things, has a lot of magic bursts, is pretty survivable, and is kind of a niche pickup every once in a while where some teams do decide to run him. So seeing Zenith draft him here doesn't surprise me that much. Great against Alchemist because he can pretty much dodge the stun. He'll take the damage, of course, but being able to remove the stun duration is really useful. It's also fantastic against Enchantress ganks because as long as you get Dark Pact off, there's just no way that anything will kill you. Yeah, she's not exactly the strongest ganker. She'll have a fairly weak slow, and then whatever her creeps have. So it usually requires pretty good micro to be able to score kills on Enchantress. Yeah, ganks. And any of the nukes the creeps would throw, the Stomp, the Clap from the Ursa or the Centaur, they have to get very close to do it, so plenty of time to channel Dark Pact. But with that being said, well, we'll see a Gyrocopter ban from IG. Banning out, it looks like they just want to get rid of a lot of the strong 5-man turtling heroes. And this makes a lot of sense against Zenith, because we saw what they did in Game 1 versus Arndt when they had successes. This is a team that loves to build very strong defensive lineups, heroes like Darkseer, Tinker, Earthshaker, stall the game and make it hard to take their towers, and then split push on behind that very strong defense. So they remove the strong defensive heroes, they go for the Prophet, and we may see IG just kind of spreading the map and looking to just face rush Zenith in the mid-game. Early tower dives with the Enchantress creeps, Prophet teleports. If they want to play that way, that's an option. If they want to back off and just go greedy, they can just look for early Midases and Alchemist, or on Prophet and early Battlefear and Alchemist, and angle for more mid to late game. So a lot of options here for IG. Yeah, wow, actually going to see a Wisp pick up for Zenith. They could combo this with the Slark or draft up something else later. It doesn't have to be Chaos Knight necessarily. We've seen PA being used effectively by Alliance and other heroes and teams.
I'm a little worried about Invictus's draft at the moment because of their lack of stuns, though. Slark can obviously block a lot of stuff, but Sprout is going to be very worthless against Slark because he can leap pretty often every 4 seconds or so. Enchantress is a limit on disables as well, and Alchemist just has his 1 stun. So hopefully for them, they get a little bit more burst damage. Nature's Prophet is weak burst damage early. Enchantress can do okay with Impetus if they have sentries down, but I think Slark's going to have a heyday against these hero drafts at the moment.
Yeah, this is pretty confident to go for IO here, because, well, IG, they're going to disrupt the Wisp pick. They're going to remove the obvious combo choice in the CK, a clear block pick from them.
Yeah, something Blitz has said multiple times in the last couple of days. He says, well, the Wisp and Chaos Knight combo is perfect. If you pick the Wisp, your opponent's not going to pick Chaos Knight because Chaos Knight is simply not very good by himself, but here it is. Chaos Knight is drafted on IG. This is like the man, I would love to see the stat once we get in game, how often Chaos Knight is played without Wisp, because I feel like it's every single game. I mean, sometimes you can do things like Ancient Apparition, Chaos Knight, but it's honestly very rare.
I'm sure Kpoptosis, our stats man, you can follow him on Twitter, by the way, twitter.com/Kpoptosis. I believe he likes K-pop, obviously, but I'm sure he'll give us the more precise stats, but I know I've looked it up in the past, and Chaos Knight by himself has something like I want to say like a 50 to a 55% win rate, and with Wisp it's like 60 to 65%. So the two heroes obviously much stronger together. Now that being said, Wisp herself has somewhere around a 60% win rate at least. So it's more that the Wisp is just really good in general than that the Chaos Knight plus Wisp is much stronger than either hero by themselves. But they go Tiny Wisp, not something we've seen a lot as of late. The one issue with the Tiny pick is obviously it's ridiculous late game. We saw that at the International too with eHome, but Tiny takes a while to really come online compared to a hero like Chaos Knight.
But if he can get free farm on his safe lane, if it's an offlane Nature's Prophet, he's going to have an okay time. He has a lot better base damage than the Prophet does, and with the Wisp there, I mean, your lanes just get scary, man. I've gotten okay at offlaning now, and whenever I find Wisp lanes, it just completely throws off my entire experience. Like, I always underestimate the Wisp off lanes because it makes the carry so much faster. They get an extra disable and stun, and it really just changes the strengths. And since Nature's Prophet isn't really the strongest offlaner either, it just throws things around completely. It's like a Tiny is already going to have a lane advantage, and if you throw the movement speed and the extra stun on it, it's like, you have to be super careful.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see I don't think we'll see like an offlane Prophet this game, which would be, I think he'd have a lot of problems against Tiny Wisp, because you can toss the Wisp in, then there's a tether stun as she tethers back to Tiny. He walks in range and combos. I don't think we'll see that though. It looks to me like it's going to be a mid lane Alchemist, a safe lane Prophet, and then probably an aggressive trying Chaos Knight, Enchantress +1. There's a lot of other ways they could run it. They could jungle the Prophet and the Enchantress. They can run CK +1 mid, an Alchemist safe lane, and just abandon the off lane. So IG have options, but IG is a team to me that they're best when aggressive and they get aggressive early. So if they run that kind of greedy farming lineup, you're giving away a free level 6 to Wisp, you're also giving away a free level 6 to Visage, and a lot of farm to Tiny, and these heroes can really punish you. And they'll go Ancient Apparition. If they want to run that aggressive tri-lane with Enchantress +2, they definitely have the option now.
Yep, so this is going to be the support setup for the Chaos Knight, one of the other few combos that is fairly common. I would love to maybe see even Chilling Touch be picked up. It's Ancient Apparition's third skill. It's been buffed pretty regularly here, and mostly because all of Invictus Gaming's heroes actually do end up doing a lot of right-click. Nature's Prophet with early Chilling Touch could be pretty useful. It's possible we won't see it at all. It could just be the simple Cold Feet plus Ice Vortex, but I think it'd be kind of a fun build to do, especially because bursting down Slark is oftentimes very important. So I also love the Ice Blast. It's great against Slark as well.
Do you know if the Dark Pact removes Ice Blast? The debuff from it?
Ooh, that is a really good question.
If you don't know, it's fine. I was just curious.
I do not know. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
I imagine it probably does. I don't think it's anything. It's not like Doom, certainly, where it's like unpurgeable, but Tinker from Zenith slips through to the last pick. I personally feel against Zenith you should just never give XY Tinker, but they'll give it away. And now for IG,
It's gonna be an offlane Slark then.
It could be an offlane Slark. They don't really have any other option. I mean, you can run Tinker offlane and just try to stack Ancients if you want to be greedy in like a pub game, but you do that against IG. They have Enchantress creeps, they have Prophet Trance, they can block that with bodies.
Yep.
They can throw wards there. So yeah, probably a Slark offlane, and with Ice playing it, it most certainly will be. So we'll introduce the teams now. Purge. It's Zenith on the Radiant side. They're trailing 0-1 in the best of 2. It's the Alienware Cup, brought to you by Beyond the Summit. We'll have XY going to the mid lane, playing the Tinker. No, maybe not. Saving a bunch of gold for the time being. Might even be doing some weird jungle shenanigans. Ice, 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 handling the Slark. Ice on the Visage. We'll have Yamate playing the Tiny and taking over the role of the Wisp. Should be X Freedom.
And for the Dire Team, IG currently up 1 game. Faith is going to be playing Ancient Apparition. We've got Zhou on the Chaos Knight. Ferrari 430 is playing Alchemist 6th, or Chuan is going to be playing Enchantress. And we've got YYF on the Nature's Prophet. He actually went for a bottle first. Very, very surprising here. Man, I have no idea what he's going to do with this, but a bottle Ancient Nature's Prophet first. I guess he could hypothetically get a lot of mana. Dark Pact does not remove Ice Blast. Thank you. So that means that that's going to prevent the Slark from regenning during combat. If he pops his ulti and there is no vision on him, he's not going to be gaining any HP. So this is going to be a pretty nice advantage towards Slark if they can land this on him during the team
It's
fight.
great against Slark. And the other thing is, it's just a nice sniper ultimate in general. You combine that with Prophet ult. If you hit Wisp with Prophet ult after a few bounces and then an Ice Blast, that's pretty much the entire HP pool of the Wisp. So it could really negate some of the aggression from Zenith depending on where they dive. And obviously, Ancient Apparition is a strong dual lane combo with CK. Most heroes can't deal with that matchup. Of course, Slark, well, with Dark Pact and Leap, it will be pretty hard for IG to kill him, even with the Chaos Bolt, into the, the Cold Feet combo. Well, it's not going to be a dual lane mid. It's actually going to be the Alchemist mid, which is, it's what I mentioned I thought IG would do. But it looked for a moment like they were going to do a dual lane mid. But they go back to the Alch mid. 430 is going to be playing it. So Alchemist versus Slark. It'll be a lot of farm traded. Slark should be able to bully the Alchemist a bit, but with Acid Spray spam, you're not likely to be able to kill him.
Well, and it is actually looking like a stacking Tinker. He's got boots first. The first block is going to go through with the Ancient Apparition, so he won't be able to do the convenient stack at 53. And he's going to have to start at a single creep. And look at this. His second illusion is now coming. And if he can time this correctly, he can block this out twice. And that would really slow down XY's farm.
You know, the problem with doing this is also that they have a Chen and an Enchantress, or an Enchantress and a Prophet anyway. So even if there's no illusion rune, they can still just block it with creeps, with treants. It's really hard to get this. Maybe not treants now because YYF is in the bottom lane at this point, but the Enchantress can easily deal with this and still farm the jungle because she can have 2 creeps at once. So it's super greedy from Zenith to be running an off-lane Tinker. I kind of feel, now that they've seen the lanes, Tinker could do well mid against Alch, and your off-lane Slark isn't actually going to die against just a CK Ancient Apparition early. I feel like they'd be better off switching the lanes, to be honest. And where else is there for Tinker to go? You can stack the big camp, but farming the big camp is really slow. I mean, this is just not ideal for a Tinker.
Yeah, I really agree with your assessment there. I thought the same thing was going to happen. I thought they were going to put Tinker mid and throw the Slark in the off lane. Like you said, you can actually pounce dodge Chaos Bolt without too much trouble because it is a pretty slow projectile now. It has been nerfed, so it's a little bit easier to dodge. So, but we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, for the time being, it'll be up to Ice 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 to make whatever he can out of this mid lane. Right now, he's sitting at 5-2. The Alchemist 4-1. Nobody farming particularly well there for IG. Zhou's free farming top 10-0. Tiny 9-4. So basically, both teams are trading pretty evenly mid as well as their safe lanes. And then the question is, who's getting more out of the jungle? And right now, well, it's a free farm Enchantress not being contested at all. An off-lane Tinker who's getting absolutely nothing. Prophet, how much has he shut down this Wisp so far? X-Freedom already getting close to level 3. Looks like the treant pulls and creep blocks have not been fully effective, but the 2-minute camp has been blocked, the 2-minute spawn rather, so they'll delay the level 6 a little bit there. And finally they get an Ancient stack. They've been forced to rotate 3 heroes to the top rune to make this happen. It's a pretty expensive investment.
So he's going to continue stacking from here on out. Chuan continues to farm, picking up level 3, and he's going to start investing in maybe some other skill. He's actually waiting on a skill point here. Not sure if he's going to go extra heals or not, but the bottle is happening. Is this being transferred? How is this? Is this, okay, this is Ferrari's bottle. I want to see what YYF's been doing with his. I guess the same thing, just using it to get enough mana. Wow, he's actually level 1.
Yeah,
he's got 0 EXP.
He's been trying to pull the wave as well as just block the camp. He blocked the camp at the 2-minute mark, but he didn't block the first spawn, and Wisp has already gotten quite a bit out of the lane. Thing is, like you talked about, he can't really... Wisp plus anything in the safe lane is really good against a solo off lane. You can kill them with ease, so
yeah.
He can't enter the lane. If he can't stop the creep camps from spawning, he can't stop the pulls. There's not much he can do. He's been trying to pull the waves, but the creeps are dying too quickly, or the treants rather. So end of the day, off lane Prophet being completely shut down, it puts a lot more pressure on the Chaos Knight, the Alchemist, to make things happen in the mid game.
Well, hopefully they can do that. We did see a really rough start on Alchemist earlier today, so we know the hero can come back pretty effectively. It's only 8 CS on Alchemist at the moment, but compare this to Slark. Slark's doubling him at the moment.
Yeah,
So pretty good for Ice.
you just can't really trade effectively versus Slark as most melee heroes. And 430's Alchemist, it's very hard to do it, especially Ice has a poor man shield, so he can tank the creeps really well. What 430 wants to do is what he's been doing, which is just spam the wave with the acid spray. Don't really fight the hero, just fight the creeps and use the natural momentum of the wave to get farm that way. He'll be bottle crowing continuously. He is level 5, and it's going all right for him. For Ice, though, he just really wants to get 6. He's got his access to boots now. The one thing that I'm really keeping an eye on for IG is Chuan. He's level 3. He's got boots. He can buy a smoke now if he'd like. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the best ganking partner. It's an Ancient Apparition, but Faith started level 4. It could be a very fast level 6, and then maybe you just smoke gank the Enchantress alone and use the Ancient Apparition ult to find a kill.
That would be kind of good. A ulti is really awesome for setting up the ganks, because you only have to get your opponents to a certain threshold. Once they get down to like about 10%, you can score the kill. And since Faith has been doing such an amazing job pulling, he's actually out-leveling the Wisp, I'm pretty sure here. Ice definitely is really getting under level. Level 2 on Ice, level 3 on Wisp, and this solo pulling from camp to camp has really been accelerating Faith's growth. He's going to pick up level 5. This is mana or level independent to Chaos Knight, who's also 6. So as a whole, I'm sure the EXP gain is going really well for IG, and that is the case. They do have an EXP advantage.
I have to go back to what you pointed out at the very beginning of this game, Kevin, which is Tinker, his camp got blocked for the first 2 spawns. And he is now level 2 at 5 minutes in as an Ancient jungling Tinker. He's only got 1 point in March. He finally gets the money for his bottle. This could be really bad, but it could be first blood on Chuan. Top rune. He's running, but Ice under cover of his Shadow Dance is giving chase. He's got to leap soon. He needs that last leap to connect. The heal is keeping Chuan alive. Now the transfer here. It's such a long way to dive. Ice wants this kill so badly. Wants to slay some Malaysian blood, but in the end, it's actually Faith who finds the first blood. Top lane, he's going to pay. Yamate, no, whiffs the Avalanche, still has a toss, throws him up, jams it in, gets the kill anyway. Well, he gets some style points for that one. Thought Chuan would be the first blood, but great jukes from him, able to escape.
Yeah, I really liked what Chuan did there. He blocked partially with the Treants. If your Slark has to run around things, it ends up changing which direction he's aiming a lot, and it becomes really difficult actually to pounce at that point. So Ice said, okay, whatever. I went too long. I took too long to get the second pounce off, and I'm just going to have to back up. So a little safe play from him. Alchemist was able to shift over, and he did not want to die to that, so pretty safe.
Yeah, now they're trading far mid. I guess the nice thing for Zenith now is now that Ice has his early levels, he can start ganking, and you can give the mid lane to the Tinker, because just sitting and farming the Ancients, now that Ancient Apparition is very close to level 6, Enchantress could be smoke ganking. It's just after the 6-minute mark, so your Observer Ward is going to die. Well, actually, it was placed late, so it'll die a little bit later, but bit dangerous to farm the Ancients right now, so I think leaving XY mid and then just ganking with Ice might be the way to go. But for the time being, XY kind of just stealing farm from Ice in this lane. It's a little awkward right now.
Well, Slark as a hero doesn't need that much farm to actually gank in the early game. I've done some roaming Slark games that are pretty funny. He's going to go leap. Oh, it does get dodged by 430.
These leaps.
The ward on the high ground really helps, though. This is just placed about 20 seconds ago, so that's able to spot Ice as he came in. He assumed that he wouldn't have vision there. Slark, by the way, has excellent night vision. Iowa Wisp getting a kill on the Nature's Prophet on the bottom lane. That's exactly what I'm talking about, man. Wisp, tether on a carry, that stuff is scary.
It's a level 4 Prophet with boots and bottle. Buys another TP scroll, I think right before he died there, but there's not a whole lot he can do. For IG, though, all things considered, they're leading in terms of gold. They lead by about 1,000 in terms of experience, which is a decent advantage. There's no level 6 on Wisp yet, and they could start taking towers. Level 5 Enchantress can easily have a couple of creeps if she wants to push. YYF has disconnected. We'll have a quick pause here. It's looking decent for IG. I think the main liability for Zenith is just this Tinker right now. You have a strong Tiny Wisp start. Well, especially a strong Tiny start. The Wisp not quite as much, but this Tinker really needs some time to come back. So they'll need to make those first few Wisp ganks count, and if they do that, then IG will be forced to play defensively, and that's where Tinker can farm the Boots of Travel and then slowly start to work his way back in the game.
Yeah, and he definitely does need to. Even if he doesn't, though, if he has a Soul Ring picked up, he needs to hit 6, get a rearm level, and then when the pushes come, spam the March. We've seen it time and time again. March is annoying. It can even farm Ancients at level 1. It doesn't do as much damage as the level 3 or the level 4, but if he can get the rearm up and cast March a couple times, it is going to be defending his towers. He doesn't necessarily want to go super late. I would say a Tiny with an Aghanims and a Yasha or whatever build he decides to go is great at countering Chaos Knight. just because of the AoE that he puts out can clear the illusions really fast, but Alchemist could be scary. He does have to worry about Craigie exterior in the late game, but as a whole, if he gets an Abyssal Blade or something like that, it could pose a problem to Tiny.
That's looking very far ahead. For IG, I feel like they don't want to go that late. If they get to the point where they have to worry about buying Abyssal Blade, they're probably in a difficult situation. It's a solo mid-Alchemist. The way a lot of the Chinese teams have been preferring to play him is to build him more as a utility hero, the early mech, even a medallion at times, and go for a quick Roche, which, by the way, is a big strength of IG's lineup. They can Roche fairly early with the Treants, the Poison Spray, or the Acid Spray, I should say, and, well, top lane, they're going to keep on pushing. IG grouping up with a few heroes, working on this tier 2 top. They already took the tier 1. Zhou, he's got access to Phantasm, could make a go here. 430 just pushing out the middle lane in this time, and IG, they look to make something happen now. I like this timing because they can actually take 2 towers, and it's going to be very hard for Zenith to defend. Level 3 March the Machine, but the damage already largely done. This tier 2 is not long for this world.
Yeah, the range creeps are going to get cleaned up, so 200 gold goes to the Tinker at least. Pretty nice for him, but the tier 2 tower taken out this early is a big detriment. They are right-clicking. Nope, no deny there for XY. Drove of Endurance, very popular on Tiny, as you guys can see. 5 minutes, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's already got so much damage. The main thing Tiny needs is just to stay in range so he can hit you. Every hit hurts a lot, and you're not really auto-attacking constantly like other carry heroes. Actually, top lane. We'll see a go now. Zhou jumps in, catches out Yamate. He does get a 3-hero avalanche, but a 4-second stun is a lot stronger than that. And in the end, Zhou will win that fight. Picks up a kill. Yamate doesn't need to be defending this top lane. He rotated there to try and help. Wisp needs level 6, which is why it wasn't X-Freedom going, but ultimately, you really want level 6 on the Wisp, and then you don't walk in to defend. You actually just gank. 430, caught by a tether mid lane. Ice leaped in on him, but unfortunately, Dark Pack was already used, so he can't get out of this one. The stun will keep 430 safe. He backs off, and he does so successfully. And for Zenith, well, they really need Wisp level 6. That's priority number 1 for them right now. Tinker can't really do much. Nowhere near Boots of Travel. Tiny Wisp have to be your bread and butter through the mid game.
Yeah, it definitely is what they need to do. In their defense, though, even if he had level 6 up, IG is pretty global as well. They have Nature's Prophet ulti, you know, when Nature's Prophet actually hits level 6. And they also have the A ulti, so ganks that could be a little scary. There's the initiation again on Nature's Prophet. Phase Boots with the drum. He popped both, probably pretty close to 522 movement speed, and very squishy hero at this point. 3 Ironwood Branches is not a survivable
Apparently
prophet,
rock beats tree. Who would have known it?
I guess that's the case. Especially when you hit for about 150 right-click damage. It's pretty impressive. Ice wants to fight Ferrari again. He's going to leap and pounce forward. More right-click exchanges. 2 levels in Dark Pact, and they're just kind of poking. No problem. He's going to go mech. I love mech Alchemist. I think it's such a cool build. He has pretty good mana regen from his ulti. He needs armor, and gets good farm in the mid lane. So pretty easy hero to farm it up on.
Yeah, IG, there will be a lot of physical damage later from the Tiny, but right now, I feel like they really need just flat HP, so they don't get comboed by Tiny Wisp plus eventually the Tinker once he's got his Boots of Travel.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't have... Some of these heroes just aren't that great at finding farm. Enchantress has picked up power traits. Everyone on IG going for pretty basic, just HP-heavy items. It's YYF on the Prophet and Faith on the Ancient Apparition. Those are going to be the squishies that probably have a sad game. And for IG, they went Prophet, Ancient Apparition. You'd love to see them just finding some pickoffs. Smoke gank, maybe bring the Chaos Knight there, and then throw in an Ice Blast, a Prophet Ultimate, and just find kills that way. But no level 6 on YYF just yet, and they just haven't really used this Ancient Apparition ult too much. He got a really fast level 6. We'll have to see if it actually amounts to anything, though. The clock is really ticking, where Zenith, they went greedy, they went Jungle, Ancient Tinker, but now XY, level 8, 11 minutes in. IG, they completely shut him down the first few Ancient spawns, but since then, it's been just completely quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, and 500 gold here, he's going to finish his Boots of Travel as well, and then he's going to be up to par. And it's a little late, or about to be a little late, but considering how he started and how much effort was put towards blocking him, and how convenient it was for IG to snag an Illusion Rune at the start, he's doing honestly just fine. We see a smoke gank now from IG. Zhou as well as Chuan are going to lead the way, possibly ganking under the tier 1 tower and then taking that tower immediately. But it's Ice, the survivable Slark player, so as long as he just stops the creeps from giving him vision, he's going to regen up to full in just a second.
They drew a big wraparound. They definitely want to kill the Tinker at the Ancients, but XY sitting top lane at the base. He circles it. He says, guys, they're ganking me. Probably, if they're not ganking me, then they're ganking you in the jungle. And they're not going to find anyone. This is just a lot of wasted time for IG. They are preventing Zenith from farming, but now with Relocate online, Zenith, they just wait for that opportunity to go. The Familiars will scout out Joe, but in they go mid lane. Ice Blast is there. Blows up too. Ice Ice will melt along with the Visage. Now Relocate in, but they've relocated into the entirety of IG's forces. IG, it's going to be Chuan dropping low, but he's able to escape. And they'll start to work on this tower. Actually, the Relocate brings the Wisp back at the last possible second. Now XY using Fog like a boss, able to live. Oh, my goodness, that was a lot of burst damage. That Ancient Apparition ult absolutely ruins the Slark. There is just nothing Slark can do when that hits.
And Alchemist's Unstable Concoction hit as well. I believe Slark's armor is, it's pretty darn low. If he actually dropped the Acid Spray first and then dropped the Unstable Concoction, you're giving this bonus damage because they're at minus armor. So I think that was a large reason that the Slark got killed as well. If that hero takes burst damage, he dies. He needs to stay alive. He can dodge stuns and things like that, but pure nuke damage is his weakness.
I feel like I'm watching a pub. This is a 13-minute Boots of Travel ancient farming tinker in a pro game against an Enchantress and a Prophet, two of the best heroes to block the camp. And they had an Illusion Rune. They had all the tools to stop XY from getting Boots of Travel, but just didn't devote enough to doing it. Chuan basically, he was ushered away because the Visage rotated top rune early, as well as Ice Ice Ice, just keeping the creeps back, keeping the heroes back from warding it. But, I mean, you can block this with creeps. I feel like IG just were not nearly disciplined enough in blocking that camp, and as a result, really early Boots of Travel, and now things get tough. They've got such a global lineup. IG are going to be forced to largely 5-man, and well, while they're busy 3, 4, 5-manning, that's where Zenith are just going to spread the map and out-farm them.
Yeah, YYF is going to try to control the mid push here. He's going to put the ulti down as well. The bot tower will be destroyed pretty easily here. IG takes another gold advantage. And the A ulti is going to counter push on the top lane, only stopping one creep, but Chaos Knight now teleports up. He's going Drum into Armlet, pretty standard Chaos Knight DPS build. He'll most likely make a BKB after this, and at that point, oh, actually, we're going to see a Wisp TP on the mid lane. YYF in a lot of trouble. He puts on the Sprout, but it's not good enough. The Tether trying to get it to toss as well, and he does end up going down, so great Wisp gank going on here.
Now Chuan on the run, a leap forward by Ice 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 will catch him out, but do you really want to dive the Enchantress while she's healing? Probably not. Yamate was left to himself. He tosses one forward, then gets stunned, caught in the cold feet, will go down. Wisp did not re-tether to bring him back. Actually, I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe it was on cooldown, maybe just got too far away. Couldn't get it off. That is very costly. If anyone's going to be left to die, it should be the Wisp, not the Tiny.
Yeah, and he bursted down really fast as well. Ran into 3 heroes. Once he got stunned, it was a little chilling touch. This is being maxed out second, by the way. A little chilling touch, and he dies really fast.
And they go straight to Roche. Even without the medallion, you have a mech, you have Treants, and Enchantress creeps. Well, none here currently. Very, very easy Roche for IG. And there's no relocate. There's just not much Zenith can actually do to stop this.
Well, they can at least pressure a tier 1 tower. That's pretty cool. Can get some gold advantage out of that one, and actually doing a ton of damage to this. I think they're going to get it down to about 30% before it's defended.
Aegis is going to be picked up by Joe. He's now got an armlet as well. IG are in great position after that fight. Relocate on cooldown for a little while, 16 more seconds. Wisp is starting to feel a bit squishy. They've got the mech, they've got an Aegis. CK is actually really farmed and has an early level 11. That's the big thing, because you really want a fast level 11, a fast level 16, get 3, 4 illusions. And Zenith are a bit lacking in AoE, outside of just nuke damage, which won't be enough. They'll pull back in Ice Ice Ice. He gets stunned. He does get off the Dark Pack, but the Ancient Apparition ult comes through. He narrowly skates away. Is he going to be able to live? He's dropping low. He is frostbitten. He'll go down to Zhou. Once again, Ice 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 up to his usual tricks, being super hyper-aggressive in the enemy jungle. Pays with his life, feeding away another kill to IG. I still think Zenith are not out of this by any means, but now IG start to have a big window. With such an item and level advantage, they can take some aggressive fights, and Zenith are going to be hard-pressed to fight that head-on.
Yep. Hopefully for them, they can at least cause the fight to be within the Marching Machines, but other than that, their support heroes are not that farmed at the moment. I mean, it's basically just, we have a Soul Ring on a Wisp and a Magic Stick on the Visage. That's really not going to be enough. And Tiny's build could also be criticized for being not as efficient. Some of the times that we see Tiny now with Wisp, they even skip the old previous Tiny build, which was Yasha into Manta style with a drum in a phase. Now we're seeing a lot of treads on Tiny straight into Aghanims because there's so much attack speed from Wisp anyways, so
very fortunate TPs out there. They both escape bottom lane at the last possible second. Yamate heads mid. This build is better just for fighting now, but the Ags is going to be better once it's completed for farming. So for Zenith, you look at their lineup, and I'm inclined to agree simply because their lineup is just flat out better late game. But the one thing is, Tinker's still trying to come online. He's just now getting a Blink Dagger. It's not that ultra farm. Oh, bottom lane, there's been a big relocate. YYF gets caught out. He'll be brought down by the tether stun as well as the nukes from Yamate. Now 430, going to work, chipping away at X Freedom. He's low, he's going back in 1 second. He brings them both back to safety. Now XY finds a kill. He's lurking in the trees. He's got the Blink Dagger online. That's all that Zenith need. They just need a crack in the window, and they can start to pull it wide open, because while this is happening, Ice, he'll split push top. They pull IG apart at the seams. They find 2 kills. And most importantly, I mean, even if they just find 1 kill or gank and just force IG to rotate, they just go push the other lanes, and they kind of just slowly pull IG apart.
That is so impressive. Like, the timing on that was insane. Just right before he goes down, he's able to stay alive. So.
Insane, and it's one of those things where maybe if there's just if a little bit of RNG goes your way, if you hit for your max possible physical damage on 1 more auto attack, you get the kill. But great play and a little bit of luck. It goes a long way.
So the push top is going to be held back by YYF. Still only minus on him, but he's got about 2k gold saved up. The gank might happen, though. It looks like we have some shared control as Ice is trying to do a leap pounce into a double familiar stun. Always fun to see this done.
Yeah, XY now has 1,000 gold. He'll work towards his next item here. If he can get a Sight Device, that would be huge. A 4-staff wouldn't be bad this game, but I feel like you're better off going for the Hex. They have a decent amount of lockdown, but most of it are heroes who have to be in the middle of the fight. There's going to be an engagement on YYF, caught out in the middle of the enemy jungle. It looks like, did he TP to the familiars? It looks like he did, and then blinks away into the jungle. I mentioned IG can snipe with the Prophet ult, the Ancient Emperor Ice Blast, but now with Boots of Travel, Blink Dagger, and XY, and the familiars, you can really move this Tinker anywhere you'd like around the map.
So Enchantress runs through the march to try to catch anybody, actually, and Slark is booking it. Phase Boots on him, so his movement speed is quite high, and he might be able to pick off an Enchantress as well. But they're covering each other quite well at the moment. I mean, IG's Zhou is still the highest farmer in the game. He's got 9k. He has an armlet. He's able to pick up a Vitality booster as well, and he's absolutely snowballing. I mean, this is very indicative of the previous game as well. He just did a great job. Picks off a kill, stays alive, picks off another kill, stays alive, more and more CS. If he can finish a heart, this guy's going to have like 3,000 HP. He's going to hit really, really hard, as is his illusion. So can't wait to see him in the late game.
I mentioned they don't have enough AoE to kill Zhou's illusions, and yes, Tiny has Avalanche Toss. It's a good amount of nuke damage, but this is going to be a CK with Armlet on if he gets a heart, sitting around 26 to 2,800 HP, something like that. You are not killing his illusions with just an Avalanche Toss. Even fighting in March, they'll live for quite a while. Dark Pact is kind of mediocre magical damage. He will do absolute work at this stage of the game. Yamate surges forward with the Phase Boots, Rocket Splash through, driving IG back. There's going to be a window. Once the heart is complete on Zhou, I imagine that's what will go towards next with the Vitality booster picked up. Once they have that, if they can take the next Roche, they can really force some aggressive fights. But I feel like that second Aegis is the timing window for IG. If they miss that, then Tiny gets Ags, he gets the next big item. Yeah, then the illusions will die pretty quickly. Then Zenith are going to have, by that point, probably Tinker as a Hex. And I think things get very hard for IG. But between now and when the second Roshan, the Aegis expires, that's where IG really want to win this game.
Well, they definitely have to wait a bit. The Aegis is about to be reclaimed. Tiny continues pressuring bot. YYF, there's the Avalanche. Here comes the toss. One more right click, and he is going to get the kill again. Man, YYF, this is his graveyard, this area by the tower, but they're going to pull him back. Unstable Concoction and a 4-second stun. Great Wisp play is going to send it back. Can they save him?
There's a Phantasm. There's an Armlet. This Wisp is definitely going to have to throw her own life away. They're not fighting this.
Yeah.
Still a great escape, though.
She can't tether to this range creep, but that's probably her best bet. And there it is. There's a stun. Gonna fly through. 3-second. Second stun. That's a dead hero.
That was so clowny. Just tethers away. That was going to be a fantastic tether escape, and then just reality'd right back. It's come over here. I felt like I was watching Scorpio or something. And
Scorpion. Scorpio is like the astrological sign.
Is it really?
Yes.
All right. Whatever. Same difference.
It's okay.
You know what I mean.
You still
the Mortal Kombat guy who pulls you back in.
Guys.
Come over here.
Yep. Mortal Kombat. Can we play the song? Is that possible? No.
Yeah.
That's
if Kawa was on his A game, he'd already have it queued up.
Yeah, man. It should just be expected at this point. No, don't do it.
Don't play Mortal Kombat.
Too far. Too far. Let's make a new joke about a song.
Opportunity missed.
Predict that one. Okay. So Tiny's pretty close to his Aghanim Scepter. He still needs 1,150. Not bad at all. 21 minutes in, this is going to be pretty sick farm. And once he does get the AoE, those heroes have to be careful. And there's still some squishy ones on IG's lineup. I mean, we've seen Nature's Prophet dying time and time again. And I'd also like to point out how greedy YYF was and how bad this hurt him. He's tried to go Midas straight into a Shadow Blade, and how many times did he get comboed by this Tiny with just a little bit of life left?
Yeah, the early bottle start also has not really accomplished much. I don't know if YYF even got a single rune this game, but end of the day, Prophet just wants to farm up his next items. The bottle by itself, what are you going to do if you get a haste rune on Prophet? Run around and blink away at people with your little cat. We'll see a leap in top lane. Joe's going to get caught out by Ice Ice Ice. BKB is there. Double familiar stun.
Wow.
Can't even pop his armlet or the stick charges. Gets blown up.
He died so fast.
That was just perfect chain stun by Zenith.
I mean, this guy's the most farmed person on IG's lineup, and he still gets killed.
He's the one who
by
can't
the
die
Slark.
either. Relocate onto the top rune. They're now going to catch 430. It's very hard for IG to do anything on the map. You show yourself on the map, you're probably going to die. 430 on the run. Channeling the stun, but Yamate gives chase. He's actually dropping low. That was a big Alchemist stun. Is it going to be enough? Toss on 2. Now the Visage nukes over the top. Chuan on the back foot. Medallion up, but he's still alive. He's healing up. Ice 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 needs a leap, doesn't have the mana for it. Out of stick charges, out of bottle charges. Now on the run, he's got one last Dark Pack, but the Imps are doing great damage.
Wow.
He'll go down. 4 heroes dead. Zenith really overstayed their welcome. Underestimated IG's ability to fight. By the way, IG was fighting without their best combat hero there, the Chaos Knight. Zenith are not yet ready to fight. They just got a little overeager.
Man, and another really great thing that Ferrari did at the end there, he stood right in front of the Slark, so even if the Slark had Pounce off cooldown, he wouldn't have gone anywhere at all with it. He just would have landed right in front of himself. So really heads-up play from him, and a really awesome team fight from IG, and we'll see how that reflects on the graphs. It's going to dip down just a little bit. EXP especially, though, jumping a lot towards IG's favor.
And for Tiny, this just delays that window where he can really accelerate his farm. He's close to the Aghanim Scepter for Yamate, but with that death, still has 800 gold to go before he completes it. And every second that you don't have the Ags is a second where you're farming slower, you're not doing as much damage in team fights. And it's not the Ags that he can stop at. He needs to get the Ags, and then he needs to get the next probably 2 items. Complete the Manta style, maybe build a BKB, because there's not many ways for IG to deal with a BKB this game. If you don't go that, I mean, maybe an Assault Caress, really good against Chaos Knight's physical damage, but he'll need the next 2 items. It's not just the Ags where he can then go and fight and take the fight. So every death is crucial. It's like an anti-mage Battle Fury. Albeit Tiny fights better now, but he still this is a farming item. It's not a go win the game now item for him.
Unless their whole team is like dead or something, yeah, you're not going to be able to take any buildings.
Well, it's a good take the base item if it comes to that.
Yeah,
That's
boy,
true.
is it, man. It was pretty fun watching that Tiny Aghanim start getting really popular and discovered, especially with the AC stack. You just start 4-shotting, you know, melee racks and things like that. It's pretty insane.
The racks groan in pain when that happens.
Yes.
IG, the group up around the Roshan pit. The next Rosh is coming soon. This is where you want to get the good Observer. Sentry wards out. Ultimately, though, no matter how much vision you have, there's still a Tinker with a Blink Dagger. There's Familiars. There's so much mobility with the Tiny Wisp combo. All the vision in the world won't necessarily let you know that Zenith is coming. And now Ice 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 is going to head straight towards the pit. Rosh is just respawned, and IG, very nervous here, forced to back off. They'll teleport the Tinker on top of the Familiars. I just love the way they're moving XY around the map. Such a cute combo. And in the end, well, he'll blink away. He'll just start marching over the Rosh pit.
Ooh,
IG
Ferrari's
can't really
coming
Rosh
in.
right now.
He is going to initiate on Ice and pick him off right now. It's going to be huge. He does go down. No BKB pop for him. And the Shadow Blade completely pays off. Mech into Shadow Blade. This is why you grab this item on stunning heroes. Because if you can initiate on heroes out of position, he can't see the Dark Pack come in. And look at this. Now they get a free Roshan, all because of that. They're going to take out some of the birds on the high ground, but who cares? Zenith is done, at least for now. Roshan is going to be taken. IG will get the Aegis, and they can push from this.
Yeah, I don't really think they can fight without Slark, because he's the only hero that has a BKB on this team right now, and that means he has to go in first. If Tiny Wisp go in first, unless they kill everyone with that initial combo, they just get chain stunned by the Alchemist, by the Chaos Knight, the Phantasm comes out, and even if you had Cleave, you're not going to get to use it. And speaking of Cleave, he has it now. He's got the eggs up. Yamate will be forced to run away top lane, and Joe will give chase. He's got drum charges available. He realizes he can't catch up with the Tiny. He will back off. They give away an Aegis to IG. The Heart should be online now or very soon. I believe he just picked up the Reaver. He's got money for the recipe. This is that window for IG. The next 5 to 6 minutes, they don't have to win the game here, but they really want to establish map control, find a bunch of kills, and solidify an advantage. Right now, they're up by 3k gold, even in terms of experience. This needs to be closer to 8 to 10 by the end of this Aegis.
Yeah, it definitely has to be a lot closer. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to win the fight here. So, Chaos Knight finishes the heart. 2,600 HP. He can just turn his armlet on at all times.
Mid lane, 430. He's coming under cover of Shadowblade. He'll go in Ice. Then the Ancient Apparition ult over the top. BKB almost feeling useless for Ice. Just getting blown up fight after fight. Zenith showing a bit of a lack of discipline here. No sentries in the lanes. No gem. Ice farming off on his own. Being punished heavily for it. And now IG, they barrel down mid. They've got the heart complete. These Chaos Knight illusions are going to have close to 3k HP. They are also fantastic at killing Brax. It's not just the Tiny who's good at it. Yeah. CK Illusion Army, that's 100% damage on every single illusion. It's going to hurt. They do have to fight their way into March without a pipe, so it will be a bit difficult for them, but they can certainly take the tier 2 top, and they might even be able to get a kill bottom if Yamate farms this wave.
Yeah, one kill there. They'll continue pushing mid, and they're going to see exactly why Tinker's really annoying to play against. It doesn't affect them almost entirely. I mean, Joe is tanking a lot of this damage since he does have Aegis, as is Ferrari regenning, but
Yamate trying to TP out, but he might have been a second too late. Joe throws the stun. Oh, it's going to follow him, actually. That's pretty close. Wow, but that gives new meaning to the term, or the phrase, by the skin of his teeth. That was literally like 2 inches away from hitting him square in the jaw.
Teleporting away from those is definitely very good. It was a nice little fireball. I got to watch it about halfway in the map.
That's definitely one of those plays where if you wanted to make like a personal highlight reel and it's basketball, you just rewind it, you show it from different angles, add a little dubstep.
Do it for us, guys.
Sip a rum and coke, feel pretty good with yourself. Yeah, don't drink, kids.
It's bad for you. Well, that's not true. Drinking too much is bad for you.
Well, for kids, it's always bad for you.
All right, maybe.
You're from Wisconsin. I guess kids probably start getting drunk there around
I
like
believe
10 nowadays, right?
Wisconsin is a state that's pretty close to Chicago, because I know a lot of foreign people don't know where the states are, but it's by the Great Lakes, and one of the rules is at a bar in Wisconsin, your parents can give you beer, and it's legal. No matter your age, yes.
Wow.
Some bars don't enforce this, or at least
that's
don't
like
allow
most of the developed world. You can do things like that, but in America, that is incredibly unusual.
Yeah, 21, man, it sucks. That's okay though. We'll be okay.
Purge condones underage drinking. Well, at least you've shaved off the stash, which some would call the pedo stash.
So you're saying I can associate myself with children once again? Now that I don't look
this
like
is
a
very
stereotype.
Unfortunate. This is a very unfortunate situation that you found yourself in, buddy.
That's alright.
Ogre Club for Yamate. He's going to go for BKB this game, and he really does need the BKB. End of the day, Chaos Knight will just destroy him with one Reality Rift, Phantasm, Chaos Bolt if he doesn't have it. So I like the choice. He gets the BKB. At that point, he's pretty combat worthy. You maybe want that Manta style complete or that next item besides the Manta, but the BKB is the big thing for him. If he can get it before this next fight and pops it at the right moment, can weather the Chaos Knight storm and turn things around.
Yeah, it really will make a big difference. Especially with Craggy Exterior level 4. Even physical damage is not going to be that much of an issue, because you can stun your opponent for 1.2 seconds, and that's around 1/4 of the times you're attacked. So the damage output of it isn't that big of a deal, but being able to stun your opponents in melee range is huge.
It's a 5k gold lead for IG, about a 1.5k experience lead. Not that big of a lead, but for Zenith, again, you just feel as this game goes later and later. Actually, they'll leap it now on Joe. They force out a Chaos Bolt. That's it. He thought about popping Phantasm there. I think he actually cast it and then canceled it. Or maybe that was Reality Rift. But in the end, won't choose to cast whatever it was. He'll back off. They have Aegis. They've got the big items. I would like to see IG force a fight, but it seems they may want to take this ultra late game, heading towards that 40, 50 minute mark. Yeah, do you really want to go there against Tiny Wisp?
Well, yeah,
that's Tinker as well. XY now has a Scythe. He's got a Force Staff if he wants it. But I imagine he may go for a Dagon 5 Ethereal Blade. That feels like more of the XY choice.
Yeah, a couple of these heroes are going to be pretty vulnerable to it. Mainly Enchantress as well as A. They have okay HP now because of some of their core items that they picked up. But Dagon always ends up being pretty good. Alchemist has the lowest HP on his whole team when he hasn't used his ulti. That just blows my mind. Other than the A, of course. Very, very close. But he's even grabbed a Blade Mill this game. Like,
I don't really like... I guess it's mainly for the Tinker, because...
Oh, is that why? Okay.
I guess it must be, because Tiny's obviously going to build a BKB, and Slark already has one, so it's not useful against those heroes. My problem with this is, if IG are going to build a Blade Mail in 430, then they're really neutering their late game, so then they really have to force fights. But they've allowed this Aegis to expire while waiting for, while building the Blade Mail and building the early to mid game items. So they'll push bottom now, but the
there it is.
Really
oh, look at this. 3 Blade Mills going on for IG. Hey, they're going to get him. He goes down. Tinker ends up dying as a result. I can't believe it. They did it. Triple Blade Mail. We've seen this in highlight reels before against Coddles, but who expected to do it against a Tinker? How sick was that? Oh my gosh.
I mentioned it was for the Tinker. I didn't actually think it would work that well. Holy crap, that did a lot of damage. And the best part is that you can't pop your Blink Dagger either because you're taking damage. So
yeah.
He didn't have a way to run. Was absolutely screwed. Couldn't TP back to base to heal. IG, a really cheeky play. They do kill the Tinker, but there they only kill the tier 2. It's amazing. It's clever. Will it be enough to win them the game?
They can do this every team fight. I mean, they've got HP. Almost every time I grab Blade Mail, I'm like, this is going to be really cool, and it ends up disappointing me. But bam, they got 1 kill out of it. They got a tower out of it. That was insane. That was so cool. And they can continue doing this. Who doesn't have a Blade Mail right now? Nature's Prophet does not have a Blade Mail. Sheepstick's more important. And Enchantress does not have a Blade Mail. But is close enough that she could pick it up pretty soon here. I mean, if they get 4 of them, and they each take, like, what, 500 damage or something, reflect that pure back, that's 2k. He's only got 1,300 HP.
And if he gets a Dagon, it's only going to make matters worse.
Yeah. He'll jump into a team fight and be like, missile with March. Imagine that. Turn on the Blade Mills. Like,
this is where XY is probably thinking, man, I really wish that was an Ogre Club and I was building a BKB right now.
Yeah, that's like the only way to stop the damage. Or you could just not cast March, or you could just...
Yeah, you cannot cast spells. Because even just casting Rocky, you hit 2 heroes, they both have Blade Mail, that's going to hurt a lot too.
Yeah, priority would be like laser a guy and then chain hex. And that's it. Have fun. Or you could wait 5 seconds or something.
Blade Mail, I mean, of all heroes, Ancient Apparition with the Blade Mail.
He's low armor. This is great. I mean...
It's actually good against the Tiny as well. He does a lot of physical damage. So, obviously, the cleave is... This isn't going to matter. But as for the other auto attacks, if they hitting you directly, it could make a difference.
All right,
and we're going to see a big fight in the jungle here, potentially. IG, under cover of Smoker, looking for an opening. Joe, he'll walk up the hill. Yamate's still running. If he stops to farm this camp, he's royally screwed. They're still on the run. Joe's still chasing. They go under cover of trees, and they try to TP out, but now the smoke's revealed. Gets away. They both do at the last possible second.
Not able to get it. So, barely catch the vision. They were unlikely to get it. As soon as the Tiny was out, it was over. The projectile speed of Chaos Bolt is just a bit too low now, so... Pretty easy escape there. Somebody buys a BKB. That's actually Tiny, so he doesn't have to worry about BKBs now. He's going to be fine. Going to run into the fight.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the Blade Mail. It's the Tinker who's going to be very sad. I mean, XY could still be a huge impact hero simply by hexing heroes. So you were saying don't use March, and people are probably thinking, oh, is that a joke? But honestly, if he's just chain blink hexing, that's pretty useful in a team fight, and it allows the Tiny to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and since the Chaos Knight picked up the Blade Mail instead of a BKB, you could even hex down some of the illusions. Not that you'd necessarily want to, but it's an option here. Maybe just spam missiles. I don't know. Shoot missiles to hit Chaos Knight illusions. I don't know.
Yeah, stay away from the Chaos Knight, though. He'll kill you real quick. Joe's going to march down the middle lane, and he's got the Blade Mail as mentioned, plus the Heart Armlet. His illusions will be very hard to kill, and he'll look to break the base now. This is the moment. This is the time for IG. If they wait too much longer, Tiny will start to get unkillable. He'll have that next item. And now they're going in with the Blade Mail. Tinker actually did drop March. XY's low. They're trying to tank the March, but he won't die to this. He can throw out 1 March and be okay. It's 2 that's a problem. He blinks back after the Ancient Apparition ult comes through. And while this is happening, Tiny Wisp may force a rotation back. Yamate's looking. He's lurching towards the enemy base. But he'll lumber back. He's not sure if IG are going to come and... I guess it looks like he can get away with 1 March if IG don't fully tank it with all 3 Blade Mails and barely live. But that's about it. It's real dangerous.
That was a really close call on the Tinker. Not only did they almost kill him with the Blade Mail damage, but they shot the A ulti into the fountain to try to predict that he was sitting there healing. Because if that lands, the healing stops, and if they can get him below 10%, it's over. So, man, this strat is so cool.
Yeah, and Ice, Ice, Ice. Well, he's checking out the Ancients right now. Zenith biding their time. They want Yamate to get the next item. The Manta, maybe some sort of utility item after that, just like a Talisman of Evasion would be great against the Chaos Knight. Even giving your Illusions Evasion is fantastic, but they do need a bit more here. For IG, might wait for Roche number 3. We're heading towards, it's not even the ultra late game, but it feels like it in terms of the way the teams are moving and the way they're playing. And a big reason is there's just so many global heroes. The Prophet, the Ancient Apparition, the Wisp CK, Or the Wisp Tiny. So used to saying Wisp CK. So I say it even when it's not. And,
It's
and
okay,
Tinker.
they're in the same game.
There's so many global heroes that you have to play like it's ultra late game. Because in ultra late game, if you get picked off, it usually costs your team the game. In this game, it doesn't necessarily cost your team the game, but there's just potential for so many heroes to die constantly that you may not lose just one. It may be 2 or 3. So everyone's playing really safe. IG, they'll wait for Roche number 3.
So Chaos Knight now, what does he farm next? He's already got Heart. He has Armlet. BKB, I guess, for his main hero, or maybe...
Yeah, I think BKB would be pretty nice here.
Evasion's not bad either. But
if he wanted to, he could even go for an Assault Cuirass, which is going to be helpful against Tiny. Ideally, I think it's the Alchemist who gets that, and there actually is a Hyperstone on 430, so... Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Abyssal Blade you mentioned honestly wouldn't be bad. Tiny's got a BKB now. You don't want him auto-attacking freely in these fights. It's obviously, it's not a great item for an illusion-based carry in general. The other big option is Manta style. If you get a Manta, you have an army of many horses descending upon the Zenith base, and it could turn into a stampede very quickly.
So XY is going to TP back to base. It looks like IG's maybe grouping up to push. Roshan has respawned, so I'm a little surprised they haven't actually started this yet. Some hesitation here. They take the Ancient Camp and now shifting over. Ancient Apparition level 14 as well, so this extra EXP advantage for Faith here is so helpful. The Ice Vortexes are at full power. He can use Chilling Touch to drastically increase his team's damage, and getting the Ice Blast to level 16 is
Look at what XY has done, by the way. XY's gotten a Yule Scepter. So when he drops March and they pop their Blade Mails, he's just going to Yules himself in the air.
Really
he's not going to take damage. This is, I mentioned BKB, but this is so much better on Tinker because it
really
gives you more mana. It's not going to get worse the more you use it like BKB does, and it's even cheaper to build on top of it. Very, very clever. XY, he may have found a way out of the IG box.
Yeah, he can avoid damage for 2.5 seconds of the 2.5 second Yule durations, but Blade Mail lasts for 4.5, so as long as he reduces like half the damage he does during that initial burst, I think he's going to be okay here. So that's a really, really smart counter that he picked up.
IG, they'll push down the mid lane again. They've got the Aegis, they've got the Cheese now, and they've given it to Chuan. Let's see if Chuan can be the carry this time around. Imps could be the X factor here. But top lane, all Zenith really want to do is just push the lanes in, force IG to TP back, and continue farming. Now Tiny picks up a Hyperstone. He'll be going for an Assault Cuirass, and he's not too far off of it. Yamate is close. Of course, buyback is a priority as well. And then there's other items coming. Ice close to an Abyssal Blade. Imagine how big it would be if they're able to Abyssal Zhou and then kill him off before he can pop Phantasm, or force him to pop it when he's low. That could be huge, and even if he gets BKB, it'll still be a way to deal with him. I like the item selections from both teams a lot. The triple Blade Mail, super clever. The Yule Scepter response, really creative. And then, you know, just the other items, the more standard ones we're seeing, make perfect sense the way this game is going. This is a very cerebral game from both teams.
Yeah, it really is. They know they're playing a game of chess. If somebody gets caught out of position, there's a good chance they'll lose another tower or lose a possible Rax tower, maybe even a Rax if things go really bad for them. So they have to be so careful. More TP is back. YOF continues to farm. Dire team also pushing in, though, so we might see a team fight finally.
There's going to be a rocket that comes in. Zhou pops the Blade Mail. It has a really low cooldown nowadays. That was one thing that changed about the Blade Mail is it got buffed significantly. XY does take a fair amount of damage, but he can always pop the Yule Scepter as needed. Blade Mail's coming off cooldown in a few seconds. IG still trying to find a way into this base. Zhou's at half HP. Well, at 2/3 HP. He'll pop Phantasm now. They're going to go for it straight up the hill. Upwards and onwards. They say there's no Tiny Wisp split push. They're going to have to fight this one head on. Keep an eye on XY. Let's see if he actually drives to the Blade Mails. Not yet. Jumping in his Ice. Now your Avalanche, your Toss blows up the illusions. They were too low to start this fight. Now Zhou pulled back in. He's going to come back without Phantasm. He will have the Blade Mail available, but this is looking very bad. IG forced to beat a headlong retreat. Now a Blade Mail pop by Zhou, but Yamate starts to cleave away. He leaps forward. He wants Ice, but Ice 4 steps backwards. Now it's Ice. Going on to Faith. Pops his Blade Mail. Doesn't do a thing against the BKB of Ice. The leap is going to miss. Fails to connect. Doesn't really matter because Yamate is beating him down. Teddy Roosevelt with his big stick going to work. Ice still giving chase, and still on the run is Chuan. Chuan, can he actually escape? Another leap. The chase continues. There's no teleport scroll. Unfortunately, he's got the cheese, so he doesn't have it. He's going to lose a gem. He pops the cheese now. He's still not going to be able to fight his way out, I feel. He pops the Ghost Scepter, throwing out imps, left, right, and center. Can he actually win this fight? No way, no how. Zenith have done it. They've defended, and from here, I have a feeling the ball may start rolling the other way down the hill.
Man, is this really... The EXP's up and down. The gold graph is up a bit as well, but Tiny has his Aghanims finished. He's got a Hyperstone. He still has just a Yasha. Could make a Manta out of this. I mean, he could carry this game if they really need to. Slark's also becoming a nuisance. So
the only big issue for Zenith is Tiny had to buy back there. So that delays the AC, but they didn't need it to win that fight. So it doesn't really matter that he's delayed his next item. I really love the way Zenith initiated there, which was slowly sort of work them down with Tinker March. IG, they popped Phantasm, which I think was a pretty big mistake to pop it at when Joe had like half of his HP and go. Because the illusions, they're pretty tanky, but if they're at half HP, they're fairly easy to kill with Avalanche Toss and then a couple of Aghanim's auto attacks at this point in the game.
Well, they did get summoned at full HP, but just the AoE worked him down, and then Yamate came forward and did the AoE combo. And at that point, they'd all died. Avalanche and Toss, they were pretty much non-existent.
Yeah, like, I think there were like 2/3, maybe half HP, and then he popped the armlet, so it's a little bit more.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, it's also just a late game Tiny. It gets to a point where the cleave's so big that Chaos Knight can't do much. That's sort of Chaos Knight's biggest weakness late game is he suffers hard against massive AoE. It's why you see heroes like Gyrocopter can deal with CK illusions with enough farm late game. Because if you just kill the illusions, the main hero doesn't do enough by itself.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Gotta kill the illusions, man. And especially just to use them to take the tower when the glyph was still up seemed a little weird, because it takes forever to get the damage output on them. So maybe not the right choice. They did get the tower a bit lower, and they popped the glyph on it. So maybe they should group up and go push. They've got all their ultimates up again, so I think it's time to go. We see Nature's Prophet purchasing a Heaven's Halberd, 25% evasion on this guy, and he can use this offensively to try to disarm as well. If
you have to go Heaven's Halberd on your Prophet, I feel like you're probably in trouble, because that is well, first of all, you're up against BKB Tiny. It's not going to help you against him.
Yeah.
Slark's got a BKB. It's for the evasion, like you said, but living a little bit longer doesn't win this game for IG. They got to kill stuff, and they got to kill it quickly while Phantasm's up. They're going to really have to find a pick here to make it happen, but it's hard to find a pick when Zenith are playing such smart Dota. How do you gank XY when he's never on the map? The answer is, well, you probably don't. They might find Ice 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 here, though. He pops his Dark Pack. He'll leap south. He's able to run. The imps really hurt him, though. He does get away.
Not too surprising. Your Alchemist really wants to throw this stun, but he's not able to. YOF does Hex on Ice. There's the Reality Rift. One right click, two right clicks. Impetus, 3-second stun on the high ground. He gets killed, but NWP right-clicking so hard.
He popped the Phantasm, but he's really low. Joe's taking the auto attacks to the face. He's still armlet toggling. He's going to live. Now the Imp's doing work on Yamate. He might go down here. Chuan could be the savior of IG yet. He'll fall. Now they want XY. He's trapped in an awkward position. He's got a Yule Scepter. Blink Dagger is available. He should be able to live if he blinks fast enough. He does it. He will live. But now IG, they might be able to push in this middle lane. Is there a buyback on Tiny? There's not, because he used it in the previous fight. Wisp, no buyback there either. IG maybe a little bit too low to force the base, force the issue there, but they do get a buyback out of the Visage as well. So Zenith being forced to buy back, I think they're just a little overzealous. They don't. It's IG who have to come to them, not the other way around.
Especially with the Tinker being alive just barely. He almost got killed there. There's some more blade mail action. If you take a look at Tinker's HP, he's going to be okay. That's pretty funny, walking actively through March to take damage, but
so what are you doing, you idiots? Just kidding. I think IG know what they're doing.
Pretty sure they do,
They probably know a thing or two about Dota, these guys. Yeah, they'll push in the mid lane. They want to break the base. The Assault Cuirass has been up on 430. It's some extra armor they desperately need. Now the blade mails get popped again. And, well, XY not using his Yule Scepter. He'll be forced to pop it now. He's going to drop low. Ancient Apparition ult comes in. You Yules yourself. You'll be held in position. He's rearming, but he gets stunned. 20. He might go down. He will go down. He's got buyback, but they lost Rax while this was happening. Ice Ice Ice. He could leap forward here. He's got to start the fight for his team. He has an Eye of Skating now. In comes XY. Remember, just bought back. Could die again. If he dies here, this might cost Zenith the game. He will go down. That's 2 deaths on the sideline. It's up to Yamate. Has to win this fight for his team because there's no Tinker for 70 seconds, no buyback, but it seems like the Tinker double death might have bought just enough time for his team to defend. Now it's Zenith who can turn this around. They pick off YYF. They get 3 heroes. IG, they got 1 lane of Rax, but we're 45 minutes in, and to me, this 45 minutes, Kevin, feels like a 70-minute game in terms of a normal game because both teams could just kill the base in one big push. With a Chaos Knight having this much farm and a Tiny, these are some of the best base demolishers in the business, so I don't really think 1 Rex is enough.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to get multiple, especially at this point with this many AoE. Got the towers. They just die. A ulti pretty wasted here, actually. Doesn't even hit the creep wave or many of the heroes at the right time. But we'll see a buyback from Nature's Prophet. He'll pop his ulti to slow down the push.
They're
but
going
the tower
for it with
damage,
no Tinker.
man.
And no Tinker buyback. Well, they just want to force out some more, and they'll back off.
Almost a reality rift from Chaos Snipe. He decides against his better judgment that it would have been a mistake.
My goodness. What an absolutely marvelous game number 2 we've had here today. Such a treat, such an honor to be casting this for you guys. Hope you're all enjoying it. Of course, I'm LD. He's Purge. This is the Alienware Cup.
It's been really fun so far. Group A is all done. We're in Group B right now. This is the first day of Group B. We have tons of awesome matches, especially coming up in the next few days, especially Na'Vi playing against all of these Asian teams. Can't wait to see those.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't even gotten to the real fun part, which is when Na'Vi starts getting to play to some of these teams. Playing IG tomorrow, I believe it is, or it's tomorrow, right? Or is it 2 days?
Don't know.
It's
but
soon.
One of these days, guys.
It's either tomorrow or the next day. Na'Vi's playing 2 matches tomorrow. They're flying to China right now, or may have already landed. They'll probably be jet lagged to all hell, but damn it, they're still going to play. It's going to be epic top lane, though. The action could be heating up now. They throw 430 back into 3 heroes. He gets hexed up. BKB from Yamate, but it's going to wear off fairly quickly here. It's only a 6-second charge, and now IG giving chase. Yamate's got to find a way out, but he's scouted out by an Ice Vortex. Slowed down significantly. Chuan looking to get in range. He's so fast, they just can't quite do it. And while this is happening, bottom lane is given quite a bit of a momentum by Ice, trying to slow this down, stall it out.
Wow, he picks up an Eye of Scotty as well. Pretty late item pickup.
Yeah, he actually had it in the last fight.
Oh, really?
I like it a lot because IG have 2 melee carries, and it really limits what heroes like Cast Knight as well as Al can do in the fights.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The main reason it's nice because you want to keep Slark faster generally than the opponents you're chasing. And against BKB carries, which most of these guys have now, BKB on Chaos Knight, BKB on no BKB on Alchemist actually. Just keeping them nice and slow, stealing their stats is really, really beneficial towards Slark. His BKB charges are quite low now, down to 6, but he can go throw after supports. He can do some minus armor against these strength heroes. There's a lot of good things he can do.
Zenith are going to push in the mid lane. They have to know Roche is happening, but they just don't feel confident they can take a fight in the pit. And who can blame them when there's all those potential phantasms going to work? They get the Aegis, they get the cheese. This is Roche number 4. All 4 have gone to IG. And they're still looking to fight. Bottom lane, teleport in from YYF. Hexes up Ice. Now sprouts him, but he can simply leap out. Actually, no. It's on cooldown. Forced to pop a BKB. Could teleport out. Doesn't do so. Tries to leap to the left. He will escape. Now 430, stunning himself. And he does get away in the end. A narrow escape from Ice.
Yeah. That's happened a lot this game so far. How many times has Alchemist stunned himself?
He puts that guy that was tightrope walking the Grand Canyon to shame in Dota terms anyway. Just really living life on the edge as Ice. By the way, that was amazing. I don't know if you got to watch that.
What was amazing?
This guy tightrope walked the portion of the Grand Canyon yesterday.
Oh, really? I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, it was on the Discovery Channel.
I was like, what? Am I still asleep? What are you talking about?
I read it. I'll admit, like, my guilty pleasure is following Slasher. I haven't heard about it because he tweeted about it. Fuck Slasher. Just kidding. IG, they'll group up with 5. They'll head into the enemy jungle. And Zenith, they'll run to the secret shop here.
And they do find an illusion rune. This is pretty nice. It does interact with Reality Rift, similar to how his ulti works. If he ultied right now and Reality Rifted, you can actually box somebody in entirely on all sides with horses with giant battle axes. It's terrifying. You usually die from it. And is he
That's
for
one
kills?
of my many nightmares. Is getting
battle axe horses.
Being surrounded by an army of Chaos Knights. That's like one of the most disturbing and fearsome. It's an undead horse with like fire coming out of its eyes, and he's got a meat cleaver the size of your body. That's pretty scary.
That's okay. You don't need it. I mean, he's.
The good news is on the Forces of Good. On Team Zenith, we've got Wisp, just pure light, and then of course Tiny, the ancient protector of the jungle.
Yeah. Bot lane was pressured a little bit as well. YYF's going to hold this out. He hasn't got any new items since his Heaven's Halberd, but do we need evasion now, or what is going to be going on? I don't know. Tinker's got another ultimate orb. Is this going to be a Lincoln's?
Yeah,
I guess so.
I think it's a Lincoln's, like you said, and it's such a good item because look at IG. All of their initiation is single target. Yeah. Scythe of Ice, Alchemist Stun, or targeted, I should say.
Reality
Chaos
Rift.
Knight, yeah, every single spell is targeted. So with the Lincolns and the Yule Scepter Blink Dagger, he just shouldn't die.
Man, this is great. They're actually counter-pushing with their visage familiars here. That's the best thing they can do at the meantime, especially because they don't know where the dire heroes are. One of the radiant heroes is actually pushing. This is Ice, Ice, Ice. So he's the only guy on the map.
What a troll. He's not pushing. He's just hiding there. Is that really his lore? Look, I made up my own lore that I like better for him right now on stream.
So they're going to sit by the Ancients. They don't want to split up at this point anymore. Nature's Prophet is still solo. Slark is also pretty solo. He's just waiting very patiently until YYF comes forward. He has a Shadow Blade, though. Oh, he does have a gem. Okay, so it's going to be tough getting him, though. If he gets the first hit in, he will have the Eye of Scotty slow, but YYF is a little afraid of the Slark, I guess.
This is so clowny. He's been on this cliff for like 2 minutes, and he still hasn't left it. This game has had a little bit of everything. I'm so glad we got to cast this.
Yeah, no kidding. Really
incredible. XY, he'll TP top. He'll work his way into the jungle, and they continue to give some momentum to these lanes. IG, they waited forever and a day as well, mid lane, hoping to camp, but Zenith not making those careless mistakes that we've seen them make in the past. They're playing it safe. They're playing it defensively. Now XY TP's in mid, doesn't have the Lincolns yet. Does he have buyback? That's a crucial thing to check. No, 70 gold short, and IG, they'll march into the base, they'll go for the tier 3 top. If they take 2 lanes of Rex, this could get very hard for Zenith. They do catch out the Alk, though. They hex him up. They blow him up. He's gonna die, I believe. 430, so he pops the cheese. The mech turns it around. What is this game? Now he comes back in, looks for a stun, finds Ice, who 4 staffs to the north. Unfortunately, there's going to be a Slark. Buyback from him, buyback from Visage. No Wisp. Wisp is on the sidelines, and now IG, they push top lane. They're going for the jugular. They're going for the GG, and by golly, they just may have done it. Zenith will come in. It's the final stand. They've got to win this fight now or they're going to lose. Game 2, IG trying to man-fight it out. Joe, no Phantasm for him. It's not enough damage. Actually, it is. Just kidding. Blade Mail gets popped. Yamate gets critted to pieces. Now Ice to fall. They're overwhelming them in the base.
Oh my
One
gosh.
more rocket comes in. Triple kill for Joe. And Zenith, they bent for a while, and at long last, they're going to break here. This looks to be the end. Yamate low, probably going to die to this last stun. IG have done it. They're going to take down Zenith here in Game 2.
Man,
what a
2
performance.
Rax finishes. Tinker's the only guy that's alive here. He's trying to stop the push, but it's not going to matter. All the carries dropping. Good game is called. What an insane game. Just think how different that fight could have been if Alchemist didn't get the cheese off. It was...
They blew so much to kill him.
How much HP did he have? He looked dead. He pops the cheese. He stayed alive. He was able to get BKB off. He stunned multiple heroes over the course of the fight. That could have changed so heavily. And even Joe doing the same thing, getting really low, stayed alive for quite a while, a little armlet toggling, and ends up swapping out with Aegis, back to full HP. Really, really coin flip team fight there, but IG was able to win the fight.
I feel like a kid in a candy store. This was just a feast of amazing Dota, these last 2 games, and it's only our first day of Group B. For me, it's already delivered. We haven't even seen Na'Vi play yet. It's only the group stages. The Alienware Cup is really heating up.
Yeah, if you guys aren't aware, these are all teams that are going to TI3 in August, so world-class teams. We just saw IG, previous winners of TI2. Everybody else here, serious contenders. Zenith made prize money last year. Orange made prize money last year. So many good teams.
This was me the entire game. I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. This game was so good.
I can't even sleep through the cheese. Like, that was so cool. I was like instantly super awake, man.
I mean, let's be honest. It wasn't the most polished Dota we've ever seen from these teams, but it was entertaining. It was well played. And in the end, I mean, there was a lot of big plays from both teams. XY, the item selections, it was kind of that chess match that you mentioned, back and forth from both sides in the end. I feel like it didn't really come down to the items. It just came down to a bit of luck, and IG just having the cheese, having the Aegis, having the dire advantage. They made it work for them.
It was really close team fights at the end. It was just super high-skilled plays. They knew that it was very coin flippy. If they could have bursted down the Alchemist at the start, would have completely changed things. He probably could have bought back, I'm sure. Yeah, he had a couple thousand gold, 7. Buyback, boots of travel, back to the team fight. So maybe he still would have impacted things, but if anything else, what a show.
IG versus Zenith. It's delivered. I think we're ready to take a look at our groups, and hopefully we're ready to take a look at our group. Oh, yeah. Kawa's like, I got this, guys. And for Zenith, they dropped to 1-3. IG 2-0. I did not expect this. I thought Zenith would take a game off of them. IG looks like I don't know if they're back in form or if Zenith was just a good matchup, but They seemed a lot more confident today.
Yeah.
The laning, the item selections. IG was really forcing stuff the past few months, but it seems like they've settled down and found a more patient tempo.
Yeah, I think they're doing really well personally. Today's gameplay, they looked a lot better than the last time I watched them play at the G1 LAN finals.
Yeah, the G1 LAN finals. They won one game in the group stage.
Yeah, they looked really rough at some points. Everybody was like, is this the same players? I honestly can't tell. It's really rough, but they're doing great today. 2-0 for them. Zenith ends up at 1-3. We also casted a match between Orange and Tongfu as well, so stats all over the place there. Tongfu starting off 0-2. IG doing well, and Orange at the top with 3-1.
Yeah, Group B's been a treat already. Group A, we had too many forfeits. I feel I couldn't really get myself as invested as I wanted to emotionally, but there were still some good games there for sure. But Group B, we have 2 more days of group stages, then we jump directly into the playoffs. The Alienware Cup is definitely heating up. If we have our schedule ready, it would be good to take a look at it. I guess we don't have it, but we'll put it up after the broadcast ends, guys. For now, that's going to wrap up today's coverage. We're tired. I'm sure you guys might want to kind of cool down.
After that one, yeah, I mean.
Take a few deep breaths.
How's your heart rate? Take your pulse.
It's pretty good.
Good.
I'm actually really bad at taking my pulse in my wrist for some reason. I always end up going to my neck. But in the end, just a random fact about me.
I'm so happy I know that.
Yeah, it's really important for you to know.
Can you guys just like copy paste that in chat for the rest of Beyond the Summit? Just be like, fun fact about LD. Can't pulse from his hand.
And on that note, I think we'll call it a day. Guys, thanks for tuning in. It's only day 1 of Group B for the Alienware Cup. It'll continue. We have a lot more ahead of us. I'm LD. He's Purge.
That's me. Yep.
PurgeGamers.com. As for me, twitter.com/lddota. And for now, we're signing off.